We take a stack of sources and boil them down so you don't have to. Today, we're diving into something that, well, it's become a real unwelcome companion for so many busy professionals. Anxiety.
Hmm.
It's definitely more than just having racing thoughts. It's this complex thing that can really hijack your judgment, impact your performance, even strain relationships.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to explore a practical, evidence-based path to really understanding and managing it, specifically for you, the busy professional trying to navigate, well, today's world.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, getting rid of stress completely. That's probably not realistic. But maybe building a healthier relationship with it, setting some boundaries, building habits for lasting calm.
Exactly. And these aren't just abstract ideas. We're pulling strategies from, solid research, but also real world application, things that actually work.
Right.
The goal is really to give you actionable tools, things you can fit into a packed schedule, to help you maybe transform anxiety from something that holds you back into, well, maybe even a catalyst for growth, personal and professional.
Okay, I like that. Let's unpack this then. Let's dive into how we can actually start to, regain some control over our mental state. We've all felt it, haven't we? That
Mhm.
sort of visceral grip, your heart pounds, thoughts are just racing, maybe your palms feel clammy.
Mm-hmm.
These feelings, as well overwhelming as they are, they're basically your body's ancient survival mechanism just going into overdrive. It's this incredibly complex biological chain reaction
Yeah.
designed to protect you, ironically.
And what's really fascinating, especially for professionals, is understanding this kind of biological blueprint. So deep in your brain, you've got the amygdala. Think of it as your personal security system, right? Always scanning for threats. When it perceives danger, and this is key, real or imagined, it triggers that classic fight, flight, or freeze response.
Yeah.
And your body just undergoes these remarkable changes. Heart rate shoots up, breathing gets faster, muscles tense, blood sugar spikes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all orchestrated by something called the HPA axis, which floods your system with cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline. It's a powerful chemical cocktail.
Right.
But the paradox for busy professionals isn't just the response itself. It's that chronic activation actually recalibrates your stress baseline.
Ah, okay. So it resets higher.
Exactly. It means your body starts reacting to, say, a looming deadline or a critical email with the same intensity it might react to, a charging predator. It makes everyday pressures feel just disproportionately overwhelming. We end up fighting yesterday's battle, not necessarily today's challenge.
So our primal brains haven't quite caught up to Outlook calendars and urgent emails.
Pretty much, yeah.
But it's not purely physical, is it? Our minds get involved, creating these really intricate patterns. We often fall into what experts call cognitive distortions. These are common, unhelpful thinking patterns that can really twist reality, leading to more anxiety.
Like catastrophizing.
Exactly, like catastrophizing. You take a simple email from your boss, "Can we talk later?" and certainly it morphs into, "Oh no, I'm definitely getting fired."
Right. Seen that happen.
These patterns, they often come from past experiences, right?
Hmm.
They form these strong neural pathways, linking certain situations to feelings of danger. So the key becomes careful self-observation. Noticing things like, am I thinking in black and white terms? Am I constantly predicting the worst outcome without any real evidence? Recognizing those patterns is really the first step to rewriting them.
And then you layer on our environment and, well, the challenges of modern life, that constant connectivity,
Yeah.
from smartphones, devices, it keeps our stress response system perpetually activated. Every single notification, every email, every message, it's like a small cumulative spike in stress hormones. It disrupts your body's natural cycles of rest and recovery.
So even just the phone buzzing is adding up.
Absolutely. And the modern workplace often compounds this. You've got open office plans with constant noise and activity, the expectation of immediate email responses, performance metrics that can trigger imposter syndrome or, lead straight to burnout.
Yeah.
And beyond work, our relationships, professional, personal, they can either be a buffer or, frankly, they can exacerbate anxiety. And this brings us to how profoundly our physical health, things like poor sleep, diet, maybe being too sedentary, directly impacts our anxiety levels. It often impairs the very executive functions like decision-making and problem-solving precisely when we need them most.
That's a really powerful connection. So understanding these three roots,
Mm-hmm.
the biological, the psychological, and the environmental, that really is the foundation, isn't it, for managing anxiety effectively. It's about working with your body and mind, not just fighting against them.
Okay, so here's the good news, right? Your mind's natural state, apparently, is calm. Anxiety is more like a learned pattern. And
Ah,
patterns, well, they can be rewired. It's not fundamentally who you are, it's just what your brain is currently doing. And we
mm,
can change that.
exactly. If you look at the architecture of your thoughts, it's this intricate network of neural pathways. You can think of them like mental highways.
Okay.
And each thought pattern creates these, well-worn routes. So take Maria, a hypothetical software developer, very talented, but she experiences intense anxiety during code reviews. Why? Because her mind automatically links any bug, no matter how small, to this deep-seated belief that she's incompetent.
Even if her performance is generally strong. Even if her performance reviews are stellar. This thought, reinforced by maybe years of perfectionism, triggers anxiety. And that's the self-reinforcing cycle we see so often. Thought patterns lead to emotional responses, which show up as physical reactions, and that, in turn, influences your behavior. Breaking that cycle means understanding and actively disrupting each part of it.
It's almost like we have these mental models, these invisible lenses we look through.
And that's a great analogy.
And common anxiety-driven models might be things like, I must be perfect to be valuable, or uncertainty equals danger. These beliefs often operate just beneath our conscious awareness, kind of silently shaping how we react.
Hmm.
Think about James, maybe a middle manager really struggling with burnout because his mental model was basically, if I don't personally handle everything, disaster will strike.
Right, the control trap.
Exactly. He found calm and actually improved his team's performance by shifting to a new model. Effective leadership means empowering others. So developing these more balanced models requires, well, awareness, challenging them in practice, questioning assumptions, looking for actual evidence, considering alternatives.
And the really encouraging part here is the brain's remarkable plasticity.
Neuroplasticity, right?
Exactly. New neural pathways can form at any age. Every single time you challenge an anxious thought and consciously choose a more balanced response, you are literally strengthening those new, healthier pathways.
Okay, so how do we do that practically? What are the strategies?
Well, one really useful tool for mental clarity is the ABCD method. It gives you a structured way to examine anxious thoughts.
A, B, C, D. Okay.
So A is for the activating event, what actually triggered your anxiety. B is for your beliefs, what's the story you started telling yourself about that event.
Good.
C is for the consequences, how do those beliefs make you feel, emotionally and physically. And then D is for disputation. This is where you challenge those beliefs with evidence.
Right, so like the meeting request example.
Perfect example. The unexpected meeting request is A. Your B might be, oh no, I must have made a serious mistake. My job's at risk. The C is that racing heart, can't focus. But then D kicks in. Wait, previous unexpected meetings were actually about new opportunities. My reviews have been positive. The subject line was neutral, not negative. See how that helps break the automatic anxious cycle?
Yeah, it puts the brakes on that runaway train of thought.
Exactly. And beyond that specific technique, mindfulness acts as your mental anchor. Imagine your mind is like a vast sky, and your thoughts are just clouds passing through. You are the awareness, the sky observing them. You're not the clouds themselves.
That's a powerful image, the thoughts as clouds. But, for someone grappling with genuinely overwhelming concerns, things that actually do need attention, how do we differentiate between just observing and, well, needing to actively address a problem?
That's a really crucial distinction. Mindfulness isn't about ignoring problems at all. It's about observing your reaction to them without judgment. This creates a kind of mental space. And from that space, you can then strategically choose how to address the actual problem rather than just being swept away by that automatic anxiety response.
Got it. So it creates space for action, not inaction.
Precisely. And you can put this into practice easily with something like the 3-minute thought observer practice. Just sit comfortably, maybe close your eyes, and as thoughts come up, imagine them like leaves floating down a gentle stream. Don't try to push them away or hold on to them, just observe their natural flow. If you get caught up, just gently guide your attention back to the stream.
And you mentioned micro practices too.
Yes, these are great for busy schedules. You can integrate mindfulness into everyday activities. Really feel the water when you wash your hands. Notice the sensations of typing. Truly taste your morning coffee instead of just gulping it down. Feel the rhythm of your footsteps when you walk. These little moments, they're like mental reset buttons, available anytime, even in a hectic workday.
And the science actually backs this up, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Consistently engaging in mindfulness exercises literally changes your brain's structure and function. Research shows increased density in brain areas linked to attention and emotional regulation,
Wow.
and significantly decreased activity in the amygdala, that fear center we talked about earlier.
Okay, so to make this stick, to create lasting mental change, it sounds like daily practice is key.
It really is essential. Just like physical fitness, mental fitness needs consistent attention. You could try something like a 5-minute morning mental check-in, maybe a brief midday reset using one of those micro practices, and an evening review to reflect on triggers and plan alternative responses for next time.
A journal could be helpful here too.
Incredibly useful. Note down what triggered anxiety, how you responded, what strategies worked, maybe what you'll try differently next time. Remember, the goal isn't necessarily to eliminate anxious thoughts entirely. That might not be realistic, but to develop a healthier relationship with them so you can respond with, wisdom rather than just pure reactivity.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. You know that feeling, right? Glancing at your phone for maybe the 100th time. Your stomach clenches because another work notification pops up while you're trying to be present, maybe your kid's soccer game.
Mm-hmm. Familiar.
That constant pull really highlights a crucial point, doesn't it? The absence of clear boundaries doesn't just mess with your relationships. It fundamentally impacts your mental well-being. It creates this sort of perpetual state of unease and stress.
What's truly foundational here is understanding that personal boundaries are, well, they're an essential framework. They protect your mental and emotional energy.
Like a fence.
Exactly. When you lack clear boundaries, you essentially leave your mental and emotional doors wide open. And that leads to a state of hypervigilance, always being on. Think about Sarah, maybe a marketing executive who prided herself on being available 24/7. Her calendar was overflowing, evenings, weekends, all blurred into workdays.
A lot of professionals think that constant availability proves commitment, right?
They do, but the hidden cost is often a quantifiable drop in strategic thinking and innovation. Real indispensability usually comes from focused, high-quality output, not just endless reactivity. And boundaries, they come in different dimensions. Time boundaries, emotional, physical, even digital boundaries. Healthy ones are like, as you said, well-maintained fences, but with clear gates. They keep out unwanted intrusions, but still allow connections to flourish.
Okay, so how do we actually build that boundary blueprint, especially in our professional lives? Where do we start?
It really starts with identifying your non-negotiables. What are those aspects of your life, time, energy, focus that you absolutely must protect?
Okay.
Journaling for maybe a week can be really insightful here. Observe your current boundary patterns. Note when your energy drops, when you feel resentful, or where you feel your boundaries are being crossed.
Like James, the financial advisor you mentioned.
Right. He noticed he was exhausted every Tuesday and Thursday. Why? Because he allowed impromptu client meetings, leaving zero time for essential analysis work. By implementing a boundary just requiring 24-hour notice for meetings, his anxiety dropped significantly, and interestingly, his preparation quality improved.
So it's about developing specific protocols for common situations.
Exactly. Protocols for things like after-hours communications, handling last-minute meeting requests, managing personal interruptions during focused work time, or setting rules for digital engagement during family time.
Makes sense.
And then managing these boundaries in practice, well, that requires clear communication, consistent enforcement, and also, importantly, strategic flexibility. Things change.
Right. Digital boundaries seem especially crucial now.
Oh, absolutely critical. Set specific times for checking emails and messages. Use autoresponders effectively to manage expectations about response times. Turn off non-essential notifications during your protected periods, family time, focus time. Even creating separate work and personal profiles on your devices can help create that mental separation.
What about physical boundaries, especially with remote or hybrid work?
Yeah, super important. Designate specific workspaces if you can, and maybe create little rituals that mark the transition between work and personal time. Something as simple as changing clothes or taking a short walk right after you close your laptop. And a key takeaway here is regular boundary maintenance. Maybe do a quarterly review. Are these boundaries still working? Do my needs or circumstances require adjustments?
It really drives home that boundaries aren't about building walls to keep people out. They're more like bridges, connecting your well-being with your professional success. They let you bring your best self to both sides of your life.
Well said.
Okay, so now let's talk about those moments of acute anxiety. Your hands are actually trembling, you're staring at an urgent message that just landed. Having practical tools for real-time stress reduction feels essential for navigating those professional pressures.
Absolutely. And the science of rapid stress relief shows us this kind of delicate dance between your sympathetic nervous system, the one that activates the stress response, and your parasympathetic nervous system, which induces calm.
The accelerator and the brake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When stress hits, your sympathetic system floods your body with hormones. But through deliberate activation of the parasympathetic system, maybe using specific breathing patterns, certain movement sequences, or mental techniques, you can actually immediately reduce those stress levels.
Okay, how?
Well, the first step is recognizing your personal stress signals. These can show up physically, maybe muscle tension, shallow breathing, emotionally irritability, feeling overwhelmed, cognitively racing thoughts, difficulty concentrating, or even behaviorally procrastination, nervous habits like fidgeting.
So you need to know your own warning signs.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And critically, practicing these calming techniques during calmer periods builds what you could call stress management muscle memory. It makes them far more accessible and effective when you're actually in a high-pressure moment.
Right, you don't want to be learning how to breathe deeply for the first time during the crisis.
Exactly.
And while those quick fixes are obviously vital, strategic time management seems equally important for preventing stress from even building up in the first place.
Oh, definitely. It's often a complex feedback loop, isn't it? Poor time management increases stress, which then impairs your ability to manage time effectively. It spirals.
So what are some strategies there?
One really powerful approach is energy-based scheduling. Instead of just looking at your to-do list, track your energy levels throughout the day. When are you sharpest? When do you dip? Schedule your most demanding tasks during your peak performance times. Reserve those lower energy periods for more routine work.
That makes a lot of sense. Work with your energy, not against it.
Exactly. And also using something like a priority matrix system, categorizing tasks by urgency and importance. That helps ensure you're focusing on what truly moves the needle, not just reacting to whatever feels loudest or most urgent in the moment. And the key, again, is regular review and adjustment. Maybe a weekly planning session to proactively manage commitments and prevent overload before it happens.
Okay, that's proactive. What about our actual environment? Can that help?
Massively. And it's often the subtle environmental factors that accumulate stress without us even realizing it.
Like what?
Well, in your physical workspace, optimizing natural light is huge. Incorporating plants, using calming colors, just maintaining an organized space, these all reduce subconscious tension. Acoustic management is another one, especially in open offices. Using sound absorption materials or even white or pink noise can mask distractions. Even things like air quality, optimal temperature, and proper ergonomics play a significant role in your daily stress load.
And the digital environment, too.
Absolutely. Screen management is key. Things like adjusting the color temperature of your screen, especially later in the day, using the 20-20-20 rule every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds to give your eyes a break. Strategic placement of apps on your phone so the distracting ones aren't front and center, and building in dedicated offline periods. These small adjustments really prevent unnecessary stress from building up, protecting your focus and energy reserves.
Okay, environment covered. What about movement and nutrition? We hear about those a lot.
And for good reason. Movement is honestly one of your most powerful allies in managing daily stress. Think movement snacking throughout the day.
Movement snacking, I like that.
Yeah, it just means brief bursts of activity, standing up during calls, suggesting walking meetings, doing subtle stretches at your desk, maybe using under-desk pedals or bands. These brief activities trigger really positive changes. Reduced muscle tension, increased oxygen flow to the brain, and the release of those mood-enhancing endorphins.
And nutrition, how does that fit in?
Your nutritional choices are just as critical for managing stress. Focus on blood sugar stabilization. That means regular, balanced meals with protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs to avoid those energy crashes and mood swings that often accompany unstable blood sugar.
So avoiding skipping meals when stressed.
Crucial. And ensure consistent hydration management. Dehydration alone can increase cortisol. Also, practice strategic nutrient timing. Think about planning meals around high-stress periods and consciously incorporate stress-reducing foods, things rich in omega-3s like fatty fish, nuts, leafy greens.
Wow, okay, so it's really a whole system.
Exactly. All these elements combine to build what we could call a sustainable stress management system. You might start with a kind of stress audit to understand your unique patterns and triggers. Then, create a personalized protocol. Maybe that includes a morning foundation routine with tactical breathing and grounding exercises, workday integration strategies like movement breaks and priority management, and an evening recovery ritual involving a work shutdown routine and maybe progressive muscle relaxation. Consistency and adaptability are really paramount for making this last.
Right, so lasting peace. It isn't about reaching some stress-free nirvana, which probably doesn't exist anyway. It sounds like it emerges from intentionally weaving these calm-promoting practices into the fabric of your life, making them your natural rhythm.
That's a perfect way to put it. And it really begins with understanding your unique energy patterns. When do you typically feel most alert? When are you most creative? When do you usually experience energy dips? Once you know that, you can start designing a schedule that actually works with your body rather than constantly fighting against it.
So protecting that late morning slot, if that's your peak clarity time.
Exactly. Or scheduling less demanding tasks for that mid-afternoon slump. And your physical environment can also support these rhythms, maybe brighter light during high energy periods, softer lighting as you wind down, adjusting temperature slightly. These small things signal to your body.
And you mentioned rituals earlier. Building intentional daily rituals seems like it could provide powerful anchors, especially for busy professionals trying to maintain some stability.
They act as powerful bookends for your day. Think about James, that marketing executive example. Maybe he transformed chaotic, stressful mornings into a source of stability and focus. How? Perhaps his morning ritual included some physiological activation, light stretching, maybe some tactical breathing and mental clarity practices like brief journaling or just quiet reflection time before the day's demands hit.
And evening rituals, too, to kind of decouple from work.
Essential for transitioning from work mode to rest mode. This might involve physical deactivation stretching, perhaps progressive muscle relaxation, mental decompression, reflecting on the day, maybe a gratitude practice, and environmental transition, consciously adjusting the lighting, setting those digital boundaries for the evening. A key element here is often preparation and environment. Setting up your workspace or laying out your clothes the night before can dramatically reduce morning anxiety and friction.
Makes the next day start smoother.
Precisely. And just as important is consciously creating supportive environments for lasting peace, both physically and digitally.
We touched on this, but maybe reaffirming the key elements.
Sure. In your physical environment, think natural elements, plants, maybe wood textures, even a small water feature if possible. Optimizing lighting throughout the day to support your circadian rhythms. Managing acoustics to minimize distracting noise. Ensuring good air quality. These aren't just nice to haves, they actively reduce subconscious stress.
And the digital space.
Equally important. Thoughtful organization helps clear file structures so you're not always hunting for things. Strategic app placement on your devices. And crucially, smart notification management. Using customized alerts, scheduling do not disturb periods. The core insight really is that small, consistent changes implemented strategically across these environments often yield really significant results in reducing daily stress and supporting your overall emotional balance.
Okay, so as we start to bring all these threads together, it feels like the journey toward lasting calm isn't about achieving some impossible state of zero stress. It's much more about building a life, a way of operating where you can actually thrive despite life's inevitable pressures and challenges. It's really an investment, isn't it? Paying dividends across every part of your professional and personal life.
Absolutely. And building your personal anxiety management system is about thoughtfully integrating all these tools, the mental reframing, the boundary setting, the real-time techniques, the environmental tweaks into a cohesive framework that adapts to your unique situations.
So not just a random collection of tips.
No, not at all. What's compelling here is thinking about a layered approach. So imagine you're facing a really high-stakes presentation.
Okay, classic scenario.
Right. Your layered approach might start the day with a grounding meditation. Then maybe you use specific breathing techniques during your preparation phase. Just before you go on, perhaps you engage some power postures to boost confidence. And then afterward, you apply specific recovery techniques to help your nervous system settle.
Right, stacking the strategies.
Exactly. And the secret sauce is practicing these combinations during calmer periods, so they become natural, almost automatic responses when you're genuinely under stress.
And how do you know if it's working? How do you measure and sustain progress? It seems like it might go beyond just, tracking anxiety levels.
It absolutely goes beyond simple metrics. Think about Thomas, maybe that financial analyst. He found real transformation not just in feeling less anxious, but in tangible things like improved sleep quality, better relationships with his team because he was less reactive, and the ability to make decisions without constantly second-guessing himself.
So looking for broader indicators.
Precisely. Look for progress indicators across different areas in your professional life. Are you making decisions more clearly? Is your communication more effective? Are you leading with more confidence? In your physical well-being, is muscle tension reducing? Is sleep improving? Do you have more consistent energy emotionally? Are you feeling more resilient? Are your moods more stable? And cognitively, is your thinking clearer? Is your focus better?
A progress journal could track these too.
Definitely. Tracking daily energy levels, mood, and noting which techniques felt most effective for you provides invaluable feedback for refining your system.
Okay, so the final piece seems to be about vision.
Yes, creating your sustainable vision of calm. It means developing a really clear picture of what your ideal balanced life actually looks and feels like.
Not just less anxious.
Exactly. Envision calm specifically in your professional life. What does thoughtful decision-making look like? Effective leadership. Envision it in your personal well-being, consistent energy, quality sleep, enjoying nutritious food. In your relationship dynamics, clear communication, healthy boundaries and action. And in your inner experience, feeling resilient, mentally clear, maybe a stronger sense of purpose.
And then the powerful question becomes, how will you break down that ideal state into specific, observable behaviors?
That's the key. When you have that detailed vision broken down into concrete actions and states, you have tangible targets. And importantly, you have a clear way to recognize and celebrate your progress along the way.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? The journey towards sustainable calm, it really is an investment, isn't it? In both your personal well-being and your professional success. It's about developing the tools, the understanding to navigate life's challenges with, well, more confidence and skill.
And remember, anxiety doesn't have to control your life. With the right approach, it can become a manageable experience. And maybe, just maybe, even a catalyst for personal growth and achieving more of what matters to you, both in your career and beyond.
We really hope this deep dive has given you some powerful insights and, more importantly, some actionable steps you can start taking. So here's a final thought to leave you with. What one small change will you make today, or maybe this week, to begin transforming your relationship with anxiety and cultivating a more sustainable sense of calm in your life?